So I'm Konstantin. I'm here today to talk about toying with your realities. When I was asked to give a talk here today, the topic was reality. It was very clear when Harald and Anna invited me that I'm the gaming guy. So I spent my last years at MIT researching games. I also work in Vienna now, and I also focus on coaching and trying to use playful solutions in very, very different problems. So I thought, let's do an experiment. I do give a talk I never gave, and I hope you join in with me. So toying with experiences, toying with realities, what does that even mean? So in general, when we go into this topic, when it's about toying with realities, we find these two worlds. On one hand, we have fiction. You know, we have a half-naked woman on a ball singing about love. And then there is another reality, like a naked man on an ugly ball in chat roulette, mimicking that woman and representing us the issue of that we live in a world today where there is a virtual reality that is often very beautiful, very interesting, and then there is our reality. And then I think there are a lot of mixes. There's a lot in between and a lot of transition. So when we talk about today about toying with your realities, I think for me the big question is the question of transfer. And transfer means what are we experiencing in these virtual worlds that is really, really meaningful to us that we bring back into our realities, where we go from one ship to the other ship. But that discussion, you know, and I come from gaming, is a very old one. And very often when it comes to transfer and gaming, there is fear, you know, like, are people getting violent? Then there is the question of, are we all getting strange through technology? You know, we all know that we have abusive relationship with our mobile phones. So, you know, we live in a world where technology is kind of like doing something strange to us. But I don't want to talk about this at all today. I really want to talk about what experiences do we have in those technologies, in those virtual worlds that really mean something to us and that also really impact us in our reality in a constructive way. Yeah? What is really important out there? And in my research at MIT, I did something about that, and I'm going to explain my findings to you. But also, I have some thoughts that I would just like to share and see if you can digest it. So let me start with a story. Who knows the story, Mimsy Were the Borough Groves? Ah, excellent. Damn it, one person. Okay. So Mimsy Were the Borough Groves is a science fiction story written in the 40s, actually by a couple that write under a pseudonym together, which I think is an excellent idea. So Mimsy Were the Borough Groves, I think I lost my... Mimsy Were the Borough Groves? I have one more over there. Yeah. Other one? Sorry. Test. Because you have to switch it on. Test. 1 second. I can also talk without it, so. Okay, in the meanwhile, can anybody hear me? Yeah? Perfect, okay. Mimsy Were the Borough Groves is a science fiction story, and it starts with a scientist in the future. He develops a machine for time traveling. It's like a box. And he's done, he's very happy with this, and he suddenly realizes, okay, now I have to test it. And he just takes a toy from his son, an old toy, and puts it into the box. Then the toy disappears and never returns. So he gets very angry and destroys the box, because to him that means that the time machine didn't work because the object didn't come back, so he doesn't know where it was. Yeah? Now the story shifts to a young boy living in the late 1900s finding this toy at a riverbank. Yeah, and he's very confused because what that toy is an object, actually 2 or 3 objects that do something very irrational. So to him, it doesn't make any sense what's going on with these toys. So he starts playing with it, but as they're not logic, he's irritated. He goes home, he shows it to his dad. His dad is even more irritated. But then his 2-year-old sister picks it up and gets it. She's completely into it, and there is like a weird form of logic going on in these toys that she finds very amusing and very clear. So over the next month, those kids start playing with these toys. And their parents think they're just like random stuff. They ask where they came from, they lie and say they got it from a friend who's out of town. And at a certain point, the dad realizes that they start talking to each other in different words. So now they get very psyched. They get a psychological therapist in. That person says, oh my God, these toys fucked up the kids completely. You know, they are crazy now, and you really have to watch out. So they take those toys away. So now, in the beginning, the kids seem normal, but then they start expressing at night and over sleep. They start talking to each other in unknown languages, and they start drawing objects that are unclear to us. And so the parents get very nervous again, but then they try to understand what's going on, and what's actually happening is that the kids understood something in those toys, a form of logic they don't have in their real life, that made sense to them, that is completely out of our world, but that really opened up something for them. So suddenly they see something in our reality that we don't see. And the point is, now that the toy has really played with them, and they played with the toy, it's unstoppable. So they repeat playing with each other, drawing lines, until one day they disappear into a new dimension. Yeah? And that story is really interesting, because when you read that story, you realize this issue of how often when we use toys, we do exactly that. We use media forms, but what media really is they are powerful tools to expand our realities. Yeah? So when we use media, we could really go beyond what we're doing in everyday life, but most of the time we do exactly that. We all have a teddy bear complex. We use toys to repeat everything we already have in our realities. I'm not sure if you know the story of Teddy Bear. Does anybody know the story of the teddy bear? Teddy Roosevelt? Yeah? He was not able to shoot a bear that was tied to a tree, because he said, I don't want to shoot a bear that is tied to a tree, but he wasn't able to shoot a running bear. So then they, as a fun fact, said, hey, let's call this a teddy bear, remembering Teddy Roosevelt wasn't able to shoot a bear. So this is what teddy bear actually means, and teddy bear is pretty much saying, hey, there are bears out there, why don't we give our kids small bears to play with? So often what we do is we copy our reality and we repeat what we already have. So I'm interested in when people use those tools, media forms, to do something different, to go beyond their realities, to really have an experience that is different and meaningful to them. And there is a study I did at MIT, it's called Playographies, and I thought let's do a small self-experiment. So let's get into this. Like on your paper, on the back, you find a few lines on that Creative Mornings poster. And do some of you have a pen? Or who does not have a pen? Okay, so could you please borrow a pen from somebody next to you? Perfect. Okay, get a pen. Okay, prepared? Excellent. So now, think about a meaningful experience in your life that you connect with a specific media form. Yeah? What was that experience? Now, please, on that paper, draw a timeline like this. Yeah? On one hand, it's pretty much your birth, and the other one is now. Yeah? Okay? Now, think about that experience you had. Think about what media form can I recall, and if the point is, if I would say I would take that experience away from you, your life would be different. So in my case, for instance, you draw a bubble for that experience, and the bigger the bubble, the more important that experience is. So for instance, for me, Back to the Future. Yeah? Very, very important movie. For a lot of people out in the world, for me very, very differently, for some very specific reasons. Yeah? So now think about a media form. Is it TV shows? Is it the internet? Is it games? Whatever comes up, and draw one bubble and write the name of that experience down. Please, you get 2 minutes. Okay. Now, think about another experience you had with that media form later in life or earlier in life, and make another bubble. Yeah. So, for instance, the movie Kids. I saw it once. It deeply impacted my sexual understanding of the world and the use of condoms in my life. Yeah. Seriously, it really hit me. I was 16, and watching that movie really impacted me for some reasons. And as you can tell, movies are actually my media form that really impacts me deeply. Yeah? So think about a second experience and draw another bubble, this time smaller or maybe even bigger. Maybe even, if you think that media form is done for you, take another media form and include that. Okay, now please take your neighbor and tell your neighbor about that experience in like 30 seconds and then change roles. Now, please. Wie liegt man?
Halbe Stunde aus.
Shift please to the next person. Did you already do two? Okay. Shift. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody out here who wants to share an experience? Give us an example. Who had, like me, movies? Who had a movie that really impacted them deeply? You had a movie? What movie was it? Excuse me? Bambi. Classic. Okay. Anybody else with a movie? Movie experience beside Bambi and Back to the Future? I hope you can raise the bar a little here. Movie? Yeah?
Space Odyssey.
Space Odyssey. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Then another media form. Yeah? Books? Okay. Who else had books? Okay. Yeah? What book?
It was a picture book as a baby.
A picture book?
Toddler.
Yeah? Okay. Who else had a book?
Die Kinder vom Bahnhof Zoo.
Die Kinder vom Bahnhof Zoo. Yes? Good one. Okay. Ronny die Räubertochter. Super. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course. Yeah. Okay. Another media form. Yeah? Web. Who else had web? Okay. What?
It was my first website, which basically brought me to what I'm doing.
Okay. So making a website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers it is the first possibility to spread thoughts with the world.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
Napster.
Napster. Ooh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. StudiVZ, yes. Nice. Okay. Other media form.
Music video.
Music videos. What?
Opera.
Opera. What else? Games. Yeah. Exhibitions. Yeah. I think you guys got it. Yeah. That's the point. So, in my study, I focused on people that play video games as their most meaningful tool, and I did about 30 interviews. And this is with an 18-year-old girl, and she talked about the games that are most meaningful to her. And just as an example, there are different phases in her life where she said that the way she used that media form has changed. And I find that in all the interviews, that it's not a media form and stays the same, but our relationship with that media form changes. And her example was Monkey Island. Who played that game? Yeah, excellent. So it's actually a game where you want to become a pirate, and you have to do the strangest things to get a pirate, and then you never really get a pirate. Yeah? Turns out nobody can ever tell you if you're a pirate or not. So, and it's fun, you know. But the point is, when she played that game, it was a time in her life when she was just about to go into high school, and in America you have a lot of pressure on performing well. So she realized, it seems so weird, everybody's telling me you have to do that to get that. And she said, when she played Monkey Island, she suddenly realized, hey, that's exactly how I experienced my life in school. This is exactly what's happening to me. Every time somebody tells me, if you want to be that, do this, and then you do it, and you don't get to be that person. You know, it's just, it never ends. And she said, what really happened to her, she realized, you know what, take the whole drama out of it, see it as a game. Always think about it, it's as silly as trying to get a pirate. So she went to MIT and did all that, and she said every time she gets nervous, she remembers, I'm just trying to get a pirate. And it really helped for her. But I did other interviews, for instance this one, took 7.5 hours. Yeah? Also showing what these technical digital media forms are doing to our lives. And here we have a story about a man whose parents got divorced, and he said, for instance, in the beginning he played video games to connect with others, and then once he moved and had a really difficult time in his life, he took it to get isolated from people, to kind of like have a safe space. And later on in life, it would be a tool for him to learn about politics. Yeah, he said a lot of his understanding about American politics came from Metal Gear Solid. And I think it's a very, very important way to think about media forms, not just as tools for entertainment, not just as tools to improve our work life, but really as toys where we can experience different realities, and we should really go for that. I think yet we don't use it enough. Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time using media forms for work, yeah, often to be more efficient. So what I'm interested in is really thinking about using discovering new toys. You've heard that these different media experiences, and I find it very interesting, because once you have a media form where you think, oh, that's the thing, it's hard to believe that somebody gets that experience with an opera. Yeah? But there are people out there getting this experience with an opera, and or with Napster, yeah? Or with StudiVZ. Yeah? But I think that's a very important topic, that those toys, those media forms are door openers for experiences. And it's not that you can really say, by the way, go to an opera and you will have that experience. That's not how it works. I think a very, very important topic about this is it really depends on where we are in life. So a lot of the experiences, and when you think about maybe the experiences you had, they're often socially connected to others. Maybe not always directly, but often indirectly. It's often an experience that at a certain time in our life touches us deeply for very specific reasons. And therefore you cannot just say that experience is the transformative experience. No, that experience in your life at that moment with those people, that's when it really hits you. The other one is we have to leave that comfy zone. Yeah? It's, I think, really difficult these days, also when it comes to media, that when we get comfortable with a certain media form, with a certain reality, we like to stay in there. But the point is, nothing really happens. Yeah? So the only thing that happens is that life hits you badly if you do nothing. But if you really want to go beyond that, we should really think about what other media forms can we use. And really, when we come back to the story, Mimsy where the Borough Grows, is I want to see more crazy stuff. I want to see stuff I don't get. I want to have stuff where I'm thinking, oh my god, like I have to say Snapchat is doing this to me these days. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? Yeah, why are people using this? For what reason? I don't get it. But it's good, because that means I don't get it. This means I get to the edge of my reality, and now I can say, yeah, those kids, they, lost. Yeah. Generation something lost. But the point is, this tells me there's something out there that goes beyond what I experience, and I think there is a big value to that. And I think we need way more tools like that are completely irrational and irritating, but they do something to us that push us over the edge and do something unique. And when we play, we should play bold. Yeah? The point is, when we play small, we don't serve the world. And I think it's a really good point. I think, especially also in a German context or in Austria, this kind of I'm kind of successful, but no, it's okay, Or you say, it's not going too well in the weather, and, that's how you often start conversations. But I think sometimes the point is, when you do that, you don't serve anybody. You don't serve yourself, you don't serve others, and you don't make the world any more interesting place. So kind of like this idea of playing bold and maybe failing, yeah, that's fine, but at least, when you do that, there's a chance that you touch somebody and that you impact something interesting. And I know it's risky, of course, but I think it's worth the risk. The other one, I'm very interested in these days of the idea of creating your own inner superhero. Why? Because I think everybody deserves supernatural support. I'm very interested in this notion that we all have certain qualities that we just don't really live. And the point is, that doesn't help us at all, because we still can't reach out to them. Yeah, it's very hard to get there. I think all of you sitting here have something that makes you very, very special, that some of you might live, and some of you, they don't even want to look there because it's risky. And the point is, the juicy things in life where you're really good at, you get scared. If you don't get scared, that's not the supernatural quality you have, I promise. It is stuff that makes you nervous, because there's also the risk of failing completely or showing stuff you didn't want anybody to see. I'm super interested in secret superpowers these days. And finally, it's a very interesting thought that I have learned from Back to the Future, which of course is the most important movie in the world, for me. Yeah? I think we should live our realities in a way so we create a future that we would be interested and very thrilled to time travel to. Because what happens these days, who would like to travel to the future? Give me a hand. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, we're getting there. The point is, these days, it's not very interesting, it's more like dangerous to go to the future. Do you want to see who's going to be president in Austria? Do you want to time travel there, or would you rather just stay here and have breakfast first? Yeah. Do you want to see what technology will do to us in 30 years, or would you rather just stay here and wait for the new iOS update? I think it's really, back in the 70s and the 80s, people were very, very thrilled to see what technology will do for our world. They had all these hopes that robots, will serve our breakfast and everything will be, looking like in a retro store. But the point is, now that we have so much technology, suddenly nobody's really, kind of like psyched about the future. People are more like, ugh, what's going to happen if we have automatic cars? But I think we should really live our lives in a way where we are part of something where we create a future we really love to see. Yeah? Where I can say to my kids, oh my God, in 50 years it's going to be amazing because all the stuff I do. These days it's like, so sorry. Yeah? And in general, I think what this life is about, in the end, is about really getting those things out of you that should be out there. And I think we haven't even started yet. And I think we should. Me, you, all of us. Thank you very much.